Today, we're embarking on quite a fascinating journey into the visual language of art.
Yeah, the very DNA of it.
Exactly. We're looking at the core elements of art. Every artwork, big or small, uses this language, and our mission is to sort of unpack that vocabulary for you.
Help you get a deeper understanding.
Precisely. We're focusing on 7 key elements today: line, shape, form, color, space, texture, and value.
In understanding these, it's really like learning the basic grammar of seeing. It lets you move beyond just like looking at art
Mhm.
to actually interpreting what the artist is trying to communicate. It changes everything.
Okay, let's dive in then. First up, line. When we talk about line in art, what are we really getting at? It's more than just a mark, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's fundamental. Think of it as a point moving through space.
Hmm.
You could almost visualize the stroke, the movement, the artist's intention behind it.
And it defines outlines, can create a sense of texture even.
Right. And there's such variety. You've got actual lines, implied lines,
Hmm.
vertical, horizontal, diagonal, contour lines defining an edge.
So they do different jobs.
Exactly. And their power is kind of situational, isn't it? You draw on your knowledge of the physical world to feel if a line is rigid or flowing or full of energy.
How does such a simple mark become so expressive? It's fascinating.
It really is.
Okay, so from lines. Lines often enclose areas, which brings us naturally to shape. How do we define shape?
Well, if a line is about movement, shape is about the area contained. It's two-dimensional height and width defined by those lines.
Right, 2D. And you mentioned color can start to give shapes a hint of 3D.
Yeah, it can suggest volume, but fundamentally, shapes live on a flat plane. And this is where artists convey so much character.
How so?
Well, shapes can be geometric, circles, squares, triangles, very defined, mathematical almost. They can feel symbolic or synthetic,
Okay.
or they can be organic, free-flowing, created by the artist's hand.
Right.
Think about animation sharp angles might read as dangerous.
Yeah, like a villain's design.
Exactly. Rectilinear shapes might feel dependable, stable, curvy lines,
Yeah.
maybe chaotic or adaptable or soft. It's all about conveying personality.
So if shape is 2D, form must be the next step, the 3D version.
Precisely. Form is a three-dimensional object. It has volume, height, width, and depth. Think cubes, spheres, cylinders, things that occupy real space.
So this connects most strongly to things like sculpture.
Definitely. With sculpture, form isn't an illusion. It's tangible. You're understanding its physical presence, how it interacts with the space around it.
It makes you appreciate the construction, the sheer physicality of it.
Absolutely. The spatial impact.
Okay, let's move to something maybe more immediately striking for many people. Color. It's everywhere, but artistically what defines it?
Color is just wow. It's an element made up of hues.
Yeah.
Right. And it has 3 main properties.
Mm.
Hue, chroma, sometimes called intensity and value.
Hue, chroma, value. Okay.
And where does it come from? It's basically light. Light hits an object, and the wavelengths that reflect back to your eye, that's the color you perceive.
Right.
So hue is the basic color name. Red, blue, yellow. The primaries you can't mix. Value is its lightness or darkness.
Like light blue versus dark blue.
Exactly. And chroma, or intensity, is about how strong or weak the color is. A bright, vibrant red versus a dull, muted red.
And artists play with these.
Constantly. How they mix primaries to get secondaries, how they balance a strong hue with a neutral value. That's how they grab your attention and, crucially, evoke emotion. How does a certain color palette make you feel?
That's a great question. It leads nicely into space, actually. How elements relate to each other. How do we define space in art?
Space is all about perspective and proportion. It's how shapes and objects relate to each other and how we perceive their relationship with the foreground or background. It's vital for creating depth.
Depth and focus.
Exactly. We talk about positive space, that's where the main subjects or elements are, and negative space, the empty areas around them. Both are equally important compositionally.
And in 3D art,
For things like sculpture, you also think about open space, which is empty within or around the work, and closed space, which is filled by the physical material. Manipulating space really dictates how you read the distances and relationships in a piece.
got it. Okay, next up, texture. This seems linked to lines sometimes. It's about the surface quality.
Yes, very much so. Texture is the feel, the appearance, or the consistency of a surface.
Right.
It could be tactile, something you can actually feel, or purely visual.
So real versus implied.
Precisely. Tactile texture is real in 3D works like sculpture or impasto painting. You can literally feel the bumps or smoothness. Visual texture is the illusion of that surface quality on a 2D plane. The artist uses lines, shading, color to suggest how it would feel.
And it draws you in, makes you want to touch it, even if it's just visual.
It really does, adds richness, a sensory layer.
Okay, our final element, value. What does this represent?
Value is about light and dark. It's the degree of perceivable lightness or darkness of tones within an image, sometimes called luminosity.
So like a grayscale.
That's where it's most obvious, yes. The contrast between the lightest tones white and the darkest tones black, and all the infinite shades of gray in between.
But it exists in color images, too.
Absolutely. Every color has an inherent value. Yellow is typically lighter in value than purple, for instance. Artists use value to create contrast, to model forms, to create drama or subtlety. It really directs your eye.
It sculpts the image, in a way.
That's a perfect way to put it. It determines the focal points, the mood, the emotional weight.
Wow. So line, shape, form, color, space, texture, and value. We've really covered the building blocks.
The fundamentals.
Knowing these really does help you see differently, doesn't it? It's not just what you're seeing, but understanding how the choices the artist made using these elements.
Exactly. It takes you from just looking to actively interpreting. It's such a valuable tool for anyone interested in art.
So as you go about your day looking at art online, in galleries, even advertisements, think about these elements.
And here's something to consider. Which of these 7 elements do you personally find yourself drawn to most often? And, perhaps more profoundly, how would a piece of art change, maybe even lose its power entirely, if one of these core elements was completely removed?